Welcome to a Rebel High Command Cast, an Imperial Assault podcast for 2023 and beyond. This podcast is hosted by the IACommand YouTube channel and sponsored by listeners like you through Patreon. If you want to support IA content in 2023, head over to patreon.com/IACommand and become a patron today. It really helps out. This is episode number 17. I am your host, TV Boy, and we don't have Second Flock. He's actually on vacation, but we have a very special episode, and we're going to skip kind of a lot of the segments we usually do because I don't have a ton of time, but I do get to talk to the wonderful Brendan and Stephanie, who were just at Adepticon 2023 and played in the IACP tournament. And I am really excited to hear your guys' experience. Brendan and Stephanie, welcome to the show. Brendan, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Noah? How's everybody doing?
Good. And Stephanie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad you guys reached out to me. Brendan reached out to me and saying he wanted to come and talk about it even before you guys went to Adepticon, and I'm really excited to hear about it. So, why don't you quickly? I think a lot of people have probably heard your episode on the recently released episode on Built on Hope, where we got to meet Brandon more so. So I'd love to also hear about Stephanie, your experience. But how long have you guys been playing? At least a year, I know, since you played in the last Adepticon. But actually, I'd love to hear from you first, Stephanie. Like, what's been your experience and your background?
So Brendan actually introduced me to Imperial Assault about almost 6 years ago when we started dating. And so we've been playing a lot with the app and all of the campaign missions just with the base stuff from FFG. And then when we heard about the IACP event last Adepticon, was really both of our first introduction to IACP in general. So once we learned all about that, we went to the event last year and we had a blast. And so we just couldn't wait to come back again this year.
Awesome. And for those that are watching on the YouTube channel, there's actually a picture I have up on the screen that was shared. And I believe Stephanie and Brandon are on the right side of that picture. It's all of you guys at the table together. And I think Gabe's dad took that picture.
I love that shot. Yeah, he got a
Yeah.
good group shot and a good table shot for us.
Yeah, so, okay, so Brandon, you introduced Stephanie to it. And did you kind of start playing it around the same time then?
I started playing when the game first came out. I was managing this board game store, so it was brand new on the shelf, and I just kind of had to try it. I loved that there was a lot of different ways to play with the campaign and the skirmish. We did more campaigns. We did skirmish very rarely, very casually. And then it was just really IACP last year getting ready for Adepticon when we decided to dig a little more deeper on the competitive side of skirmish. I watched a lot of your videos on like, hey, here's 5 command cards that everybody should have to like
Hmm.
just kind of get us started and practicing. So
Nice. So just to confirm, so when you guys got started in Imperial Assault, ISCP was kind of already in full swing, right?
yeah, it was what season 6, I think is.
Season 6, because 7 didn't come out until
Yeah.
this past year. So yeah, you guys were into season 6 by the time we even discovered it.
Okay. It's always good to know because it's interesting, like different perspectives of people who didn't get into the game until ICP was already out, and then there's the old guard that was like played a lot before ICP, and that's always interesting to me. So,
It
okay,
was cool. Last year I played Luke, and when I got to the tournament, Josh Songer said, "Well, we have a spoiler for next season, and it's going to be Heir to the Jedi for Luke." So that was pretty cool.
oh, that's right, yeah. Um, okay, so let's talk about how the event went. What's kind of some residuals like? When did you guys get there? Did you do anything before the tournament? How was Adepticon as a whole for you guys?
I'll go.
Yeah.
It was amazing. We definitely overbooked ourselves with a ton of events, and I could probably talk for hours about that. Just to kind of hit it real quick, I played as much as I possibly could. I played a co-op Marvel Crisis Protocol game against Colossus. I played a little Middle Earth strategy battle game. Together, we played in the Marvel Crisis Protocol team event, and people loved it. Like, we were on the stream and we were playing just some Web Warriors for fun, and we gave some meta lists a run for their money. The only thing about that event is it went from 8 a.m. until almost 10 p.m. So 14 hours was pretty exhausting for us. And then to round out the weekend on Sunday was Star Wars Legion team events. Like Stephanie and I, that's our bread and butter, is like themes and display boards and fun. And so we actually we just, you want to talk about what you designed for our Sunday?
So real quick, last year for the Legion team event, the only awards that they give out are best theme and best spirit. There's really nothing to win the games. So last year we won best theme for our Phantom Menace Naboo battle scene. And so we came back this year, we hit it hard, we wanted to defend our titles. So we made a, if you're familiar with the DJ Marshmallow, we made a DJ Darth Mellow board with raving Mellow troopers.
I'm not Oh, is that the with the big white head?
Yes,
nice.
The big marshmallow head. It was on our car ride back from Adepticon last year. We're like, what are we going to do next year? She says, can we do a marshmallow army? So I start chopping stormtrooper heads off. It was a year in the making. This board had a stage and lights that flash to music and the spotlights and the confetti on the bases. It's ridiculous. And people went nuts and lost their minds when they saw
We had
this.
crowds around our cart and our display just taking pictures and videos, and everyone went nuts for it. It was awesome.
Sweet.
And spoiler, we defended our titles.
Nice. Awesome.
So yeah, Legion. I love Legion. We love Imperial Assault. The same guys who won Spirit last year won Spirit this year by wearing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costumes, and we did this DJ thing. So that was Sunday, but Saturday was IACP.
Yes.
Okay, so Saturday then. There were 6 players in the event, I know. Joey ran it, and so how was kind of pre-tournament? What was your experience there?
So we were in sort of the middle hall, one of the medium-sized-ish rooms. It was kind of hard to find exactly where we were going to be. I was wandering around this room, and then this kid comes up to Stephanie.
I didn't even recognize him at first, but it ended up being Destructor. He's like, Stephanie Bourne, I know you. I'm like, I think I know who you are. He's like, yeah, I know where our table is. You can just follow me. So that was awesome that Gabe recognized me and helped us find where we were supposed to go.
He's grown up just over the past year with a little bit of a long hair going on. It's awesome. We needed to find our crew, so I held up the Imperial Assault boards and just kind of showed it around the room in case there was anyone else looking for that spot. And we ended up having 5, and we were kind of waiting around. We really needed that 6th player. I don't know who it was. I'm going to guess who signed up. Maybe was signed up for Legion and Imperial Assault and maybe made the cut, something like that. But we really needed that 6th player. I mean, we wanted as much as we could. Last year we had, I think, 10 players, right?
I think so.
We wanted to grow it, but with 6, we're still going to have a good time. With 5, that doesn't feel so good with a bye. So I don't know exactly how it happened, but Joey must have reached out to Joe from... No?
They saw him sitting at the table, and they're like, is that Joe from the Jodo cast? And they went over and talked to him and talked him into playing with us.
That's awesome. I was wondering how that happened. So, yeah.
He was literally just sitting like 2 tables behind us, and both Joey and Destructor recognized him and went over and talked to him.
We had no idea what the Jodo cast was.
Never even heard of it.
But I mean, it was really kind of cool. Now that we've checked out their content and they're like funny Star Wars game guys, like
Hilarious.
this morning we were watching those shorts and it's awesome. So really honored that he decided to join us, and then it was a mad dash scramble at the last minute through Destructor's his whole collection to grab a list and throw it together. No one else was playing Rebels.
Well, only Destructor would bring every piece of Imperial Assault that he owns with him to the event.
Well, that's fantastic. So he had all the cards printed out, and
Everything.
Yes, of course.
and I noticed the list that Joe played didn't have any like new minis in it, so he just needed to use the Imperial Assault minis. That's awesome.
There were a couple cards where I think we put a sticker on the card. I forget which one, but
well, tools for the job
for the
we
job.
had to hand make. Just by putting like a sticky note piece of paper over it that would stick to it and write tools on it. So we had to makeshift a few things for him, but we got it done.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your lists then. And Stephanie, I'll let you talk about yours first, and yours has been getting a lot of comments on that amazing figure you had. So let's see.
I went purely for theme.
She says that, but really.
Okay, let's be honest. Vader is my favorite Star Wars character ever. Like, nothing beats Vader. And last year or something, Brendan had bought this figure off of Etsy when we bought all of the other figures that we used at IACP last Adepticon.
Like Bib Fortuna.
And it was just a cool model at the time. And when we got back from last year's Adepticon and we decided to go again this year, I was like, I want to run that Vader, and I want to make an Obi-Wan show list. So that's what I did. I did Vader with Palpatine, the Purge Troopers, which I ended up getting melee Purge Trooper models. I know they had guns in the show, but the melee ones were what I could find, and that's what I used out of the IACP cards so that I could get more activations rather than I think it's the commander that actually shoots.
5 points, just
versus
couldn't
4,
couldn't fit him in.
And then the Grand Inquisitor, obviously. And then I had Rule by Fear and Zillow Technique in that.
Nice. Okay, and then that's awesome. Also, the Purge Troopers look great. Did you print those or did you buy them?
We bought those off of Etsy. They were 3D printed.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, really great. And then I wanted to talk about your command deck as well. So you went with a kind of a hunter suite combined with parting blow and looking for a fight, but it looks like you just didn't have room for the second parting blow and like dark energy.
Yeah. I found some really cool cards that I just wanted to have fun with. I wasn't trying to make a list that was going to go and just kill everyone and obliterate every opponent. Like, I just wanted to have fun, and I found some command cards that looked like fun, so that's what I went with.
I tried to talk her out of taking officers training, but she liked getting through her deck a little bit faster. So that's why she's got that in there.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that's.
I didn't have a way to draw extra command cards or to focus anyone, so I just wanted something that could possibly get me that extra card draw.
And the hunter cards off of the Purge Trooper attacks, pretty strong.
Yep, and you've got the Inquisitor as a hunter as well, so that's cool. So in general, how did each of your figures do? Did you have any highlights or opinions on them?
So the Purge Troopers are kind of dispensable, to be honest. They die, even though they have 8 health, they do die pretty quickly. So I usually just run those up first and let them be the targets while my other people are sneaking around to come in from the backside.
And maybe get off a dying lunge or something like that.
Yeah. So if they can focus on someone else while I'm moving my other models elsewhere, then that's what they're meant to do.
And I guess we should also mention you had said that you mostly use the electro staff, right?
Yeah, so especially against people with ranged weapons, the reach on the electro staff was coming in really handy. Um, and then every now and then I would use the batons if they had a lot of white defense dice. So I really
Hmm.
wasn't using the hammer all that much. It just kind of depended on what I was running against.
Okay, good to know. So let's move on to your list. Brendan, you were running
Yeah.
a scum list, right?
Yep. I wanted to play Cad Bane because Cad Bane, I love that his ability is called Make the Rules Now. So I'm telling my opponent, Cad Bane's going to make the rules now at the beginning of another figure's activation. I liked I just like his ability where you can double focus him and he focuses himself and then he has a big shot. Um, and then I remember back in the day that Hunter and Smuggler was really good together. So I kind of put the rest of that. So we got Greedo, we got Vinto, Onar, of course Bib Fortuna, Jabba, and Hondo, and of course you got to throw the Jawa in there.
Yeah, and you're just playing the elite Jawa, right? But not using any out of faction droids.
No, I didn't need any droids. I just needed a little guy to go get the terminal. Because you have to keep Bib Fortuna kind of close to get another focus off. So Bib's going to be sort of in the middle, and Jabba's not going to move, and then the Jawa's going to get the terminal. Was my kind of idea. Dewana Wanga, by the way, is great. I was able to do some double, like 3 cost cards. And I can tell you about that when we talk about our game.
Nice. That's good to hear because I feel like it kind of fell out of favor a little bit with list building after season six had been out for a while. So glad to
You
hear
can
some
you can
use.
assassinate twice, or if you can on the lamb twice, it's
Hmm.
so amazing. And you discard it to his ability, get +1 damage. It goes back in your deck. It's
Hmm.
really, I like it. I really do.
I enjoyed
If
playing.
there's a spot for it,
I enjoyed playing Bib last year. That was
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad because that card was fun to design once we had to do the redesign on that.
I forgot
Stephanie.
to mention that I also ran smuggling compartment.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
How was that?
and no one played a card against my hands. But in a card game, being able to stack your deck a little bit,
Hmm.
and it's before you draw, like
Hmm.
after everybody activates, right before you're going to draw cards, you get to stack your deck a little bit. It's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if it's worth 1 point. It's hard, but it's fun, and I'm playing smugglers, and I have a smuggling compartment. So
Yeah, I think we probably hit that sweet spot. We want it to be worth like just less than a full point on just a
yeah.
value alone. But if you go up against a spy, it's worth like more than its points.
For some reason, I thought it was going to be helpful against Thrawn, and then I'm like, wait, it hits my deck. All of his abilities hit my deck, not my hand.
Yep.
And I came up against Thrawn, and I thought I had a Thrawn counter. Oh wait, nope, it's not.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's not completely stopping all card disruption, but the most egregious ones that people seem to hate are intelligence leak and especially strategic shift. So it stops those two
Yeah.
primarily. Stephanie, did we mention your Vader sculpt?
A little bit.
Did you
So,
describe it? I sorry, I was managing the recording.
so, yeah, so we found that model online last year, and I can't remember the timing of finding that. And
I got it because I just wanted to have that model. It was so cool. We had just seen Obi-Wan. I hate to spoil that show if nobody's seen it. Vader takes damage, and it's an incredible scene. If you haven't seen Obi-Wan, go watch it. And because there was a model of that, I just wanted to have it for
Mhm.
whatever game, even if it's for Legion or something. And then Stephanie's like, I want that in IACP, and it was a great reason
Mhm.
to paint it up and get it on the
Yeah,
table.
yeah, Brendan did a great job painting that up for me.
Nice. Okay, great. I just wanted to pay mention to that because that people were really impressed by that. And then
I'll
Brandon,
get a video for you. I'll do like a 360 and put it up for you guys.
nice. Yeah, that's really cool. And then Brendan, you had a few models that are not IA, not Imperial Assault originating. So you have Bib Fortuna and Cad Bane. Can you talk about those models and where they came from?
Um, let's see. Cad Bane is the Legion one. I just popped him off his Legion base, put him on a clear base. And Bib Fortuna is 3D printed as well. It's the same bib that Stephanie used last year. I think it was Etsy.
Hmm.
Now, did you have to print that at like a special scale, or was that meant for like Legion scale and you just printed it?
It's meant for Legion scale. He's a little bit taller than he should be. Vader's a little bit bigger than he should be, but it's
Hmm.
okay to have a menacing looking Vader. It's a little weird to have a tall Bib Fortuna, but he can be lanky. Whatever. It's just a little bit off, but it's not too bad.
He's also a very vertical character. It's like he's not leaning and doing lots of poses. He's just kind of standing up straight and tall. So
And
Yeah.
and talking like he's doing a little talking at you with his fingers and yeah.
yeah, he looks great. And I mean, Cad just looks perfect next to like I'm looking at this picture of him you sent where he's standing next to Vinto and Onar, and he's like, yeah, he's taller than them, but he looks perfect in my opinion.
He's got a hat on. I'm looking at my list, and I made this little display board of Jabba's palace. You
Hmm.
can't see it in the picture, but there's a little frozen Han and carbonite stuck to the side on one of those pillars.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm looking at this. I'm like, it's like the Hut cartel gunslingers. Everybody's got two guns, or they're pulling guns out of their holsters. So they were my gunslingers.
Yeah, that's great. I just want to mention because a lot we get a lot of questions from people about like where to get the models for some of the newer characters that weren't in Imperial Assault, and there's a lot of options available to people now. Legion has so many now that are overlapping with IACP, and then Etsy or a 3D printing service can really help out with the ones that aren't there. So
Yeah, yeah, we have found a lot on Etsy, so that's where we look first if we need a new one.
nice.
Unless I already have it in some other game.
Yeah.
So any comments on? I mean, we talked about smuggling compartment. Any other comments on your list, Brendan, before we kind of move into the round by round?
Um, no, it's okay. I do have a little bit of a request, but I'll talk about it after we talk about the rounds because it's something that factored into my last game. And so we'll just talk about it here in a bit.
Okay. Is that like a? Okay. Well, we'll talk about it after then.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, yeah.
All right. Let's go into the round by round. So round one. So there were 5 rounds, right? You guys. Joey said he was gonna do round robin tournament, which means you play everybody else in the tournament. So that's 5 rounds. And
Can I speak to this just a little bit here?
yeah.
So, just to kind of give you the rest of the field, we've got Joey with his Imperial droids, and we have Mark with Thrawn Death Troopers, Purge Troopers. We have,
Not Purge,
I'm
right?
sorry, Riot Troopers. Thank you. You're the Purge Troopers. And then we have Destructor, who is playing Scum as well, but he's got MiGs and he's using IACP new hired guns. And then we had Joe from the Jodo cast with Rebel Han Heroes. Am I missing anybody?
No, that would
Okay,
be the other four.
cool.
Okay. So round one. Let's see. So who? Why don't we start with Brandon? I think you said your memory is a little fresher. So why don't we start with you? What did we? What
Yeah.
map are we playing on, and who'd you play against?
Okay. So I played against Joey and his droids. Oh my gosh, they hit so hard. We are playing on Tarkin Initiative, and this is where you can grab weapons. You can carry them around. When you die, you drop the weapons, and you need to stick on objective markers and to get 2 points per round. So that's the mission that we're playing. There should be. I've got a decent picture of each of my rounds for you if you're following along.
Oh yeah, I'll pull
Um,
that up. Oh yeah, go ahead. Keep talking. I got it.
yeah. Um, these droids hit so hard that they can potentially one shot anything I have. I had to really duck and dive around. Unfortunately, I wasn't getting my smuggler cards that I needed. Okay, let me tell you about Joey. Joey is amazing. I'm so glad that he ran this tournament. When he's getting his droids and moving them around, he's like Dr. Robotnik from Sonic. Like he loves these models and he loves this game. I loved playing all these people. Um, Joey, I mean, he's so good at this game. So it was kind of cool to see the joy on his face as he's working out on a triangulate on me, you know. Uh, so I mean, besides that, I have to play. I have to really pick my targets. So I pulled out a 36 to 39 loss,
Oh,
and
goodness.
that was really tough to get there. Like grabbing objectives when I could and picking the right targets. So that's really what it came down to. I thought it was going to be much more of a slaughter than that, and so I was really happy with that 36-39.
Nice. All right. So then, Stephanie, who are you playing round one?
So round one, I played Joe from the Jodo cast. Um, so same map, same mission. We were going around picking up weapons caches, and um, so from what I can remember, in his list he had Han Solo and Jin Odan, and those were my top two targets because I know what they can do. So I completely focused on them first. First turn, I take out Jin. Don't ask me who took her out because I don't remember. I just remember killing her.
Nice.
And I got Han down to 10 of his 12 health after Vader's final force choke at the end of the round. So then round two, I easily took out Han Solo to get him out of my way. And it was actually a really fun game. It was close for a while, and then once I took Han out, I was able to take down some of those other ones. So I ended up winning that one 40 to 25.
Nice. So now Joe is kind of a long time skirmish player, but
Hmm.
he's not super familiar with ICP. He's looked at it a little bit from what
Mhm.
I've heard on his show. So how was it? How was he playing? Did he seem like he was kind of rusty, or was it like riding a bicycle for him?
He seemed like he was knew the game and knew what he was doing. I know it's super hard to jump into a list like that last minute and know exactly what everyone does. So there were a lot of instances where he forgot things that they do and he would find it later on. So I would just let him take it and go back and fix whatever he was going to do as long as it didn't affect what I was going to do or had already done. So there were some takesy backsies, but that's fine. Like I understand it's hard to jump into something last minute without having fully studied or practiced that list. So we were pretty casual with it.
I
Yeah.
have to jump in here. So I'm kind of catty corner to her and I'm listening to her. Last year she wasn't super confident. This time, like listen, like overhearing her brutally murder these models, like she's like, I'm gonna surge to pierce all that. And oh, I have 40 points. Like it was ridiculous. I'm so proud of
Well,
her.
he killed my stuff up till I had Vader and Palpatine left, and Vader went up and killed Hera for the last 4 points that I needed.
So he got you down to Vader and Palp, huh?
Yep.
Okay, so it sounded like it was pretty good back and forth, but the
Oh
points were
yeah.
a little more. I didn't quite tell the whole story.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, and I will just say like the list Joe has, it's a very strong list competitively. It's also pretty complex. Like there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of synergies going on with this list with
Mhm.
Kotun, power tokens, and Han and 3PO and
Yeah.
Cunning. Like a lot of and Hera. Like so there's a lot of. It's interesting. I get why Destructor gave him this list. But it's interesting. It would definitely be a hard list to navigate for somebody who's just getting back into it. So hopefully
Yeah.
he doesn't judge ISCP too harshly.
Yeah, we're still super glad that he filled that seat.
Yeah.
Plus, he represented Rebels,
Yep.
and you could just kind of tell that he just loves playing any and all Star Wars games.
Nice.
So it was really cool to have him participate with us.
Okay, so Stephanie wins her first match. Brendan, you're down a match. So going into round two,
Yep.
Stephanie, do you want to talk about round two?
Sure. So round two, I was playing against Mark. Mark was actually from the UK. He came over. I don't know if did he come with anybody?
He didn't. He came for Legion, and I found out that he knows Built on Hope and plays board games with them and things. So
Oh, okay.
it was kind of cool that we got to know him, and he hung out with us on Sunday a little bit while we
Right.
played Legion teams.
Yeah.
Really cool guy.
Yep. That was the closest, most back and forth game I have ever played. Me and him were basically tied the entire game, and we were like just taking turns killing each other's
Like
models.
Purge versus Riot.
Yeah, like it was so back and forth, and we were tied at 33, and I went up with Vader, and I killed his Palpatine for the win.
Okay. And I will.
Rob,
I noticed that
Rob,
Mark's list does not have any IACP cards in it.
Correct. He was running a full throwback list.
It's good to hear that it was so close because looking at Mark's record, you might draw a conclusion that maybe these older cards can't stand up, but it sounds like it was just
Oh no,
really
we
close.
were back and forth. He would take the lead by 1 or 2 points, and then I would come back and take 1 or 2 points ahead of him. Like it was so close. If I didn't kill his Palpatine, he probably could have beat me.
Yeah, it makes me think maybe if he had swapped out these two regular Death Troopers for something a little more substantial,
Hmm.
he might have had enough firepower to break the advantage his way instead.
Hmm.
Um, but that's good to hear, and it's good to see people just bring in their old stuff, and you can bring all your old stuff as long as it wasn't terrible in the old days. If it was competitive in the old days, you bring it to an ICP tournament, you can hang.
Hmm.
I think
and
we've accomplished that.
he had the right mentality about it, where it's like, I'm probably gonna lose this, but I'm gonna play it as hard as I know.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. You could tell he liked the list that he was playing, and he was happy to play it, and he was having fun no matter what.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear you had fun too. All right, Brendan, how's your round two?
Okay, so I got to play Joe from the Jodo cast. Um, this was Uskru, and this is just sitting on objectives. So not the courier droid. And this is a shootout. Um, uh, the coolest thing that happens in this game is we get to reenact Greedo and Han sitting in a booth shooting at each other. And it didn't happen by force because I'm playing Greedo and I don't want the return shots from slow on the draw or the pre-shot from slow on the draw. And sitting in that booth is great because you can deny them line of sight and still shoot around the side of the booth. So I go in there with Greedo, and then Han comes up and sits right down next to him to shoot him. It was so cool.
Nice.
Um, there's also a really big Cad Bane shot into Han, and he X blocks that shot. So it's like Cad Bane came up to assassinate him, and just like just duck out of the way. That's fine. Um, that was pretty back and forth. I really enjoyed playing Joe, and his vibe's pretty chill. I end up winning that one. Hondo gets in the middle, and it's kind of just locking down objectives. And the end of that, I had 40 points, and he had 21 points. So it definitely wasn't a shutout or anything.
Okay. So at this point, you guys are 2 rounds in. This is your second tournament after doing Adepticon last year. What's the difference you feel between this tournament and last tournament?
I won more of my games.
You should have seen her face, man. She was so happy coming off of 2 wins. It was amazing. She's like, I don't know about this list. It's thematic to be like Obi-Wan. I don't know how it's gonna do. And then she goes 2-0. I'm like, babe, you're 2-0 right now. That's amazing.
Was there a shift in confidence level internally, or just it was just you were just winning more?
But once we get into 3 and 4, I quickly get humbled.
Okay, all right, but you're feeling good after 2 wins, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's go into round three then. Let's do Stephanie. Let's talk. You led into it. Let's hear what happened. What map were we
So
playing on round three?
round 3 was what map was that? Was that Bespin?
Bespin Tabana facility, and
Oh, okay.
this is where you pummel or you hit somebody to the floor. You turn them into a token,
Yeah.
and then you can drag their body over and throw them into carbonite.
Which nobody does. Nobody bothers to do that.
So who are you playing against?
So I was playing against Joey, and
Oh,
I
okay.
completely got it handed to me. So that stuff was brutal, and
I've never seen somebody roll like 6 or 7 dice in Imperial Assault before in one shot.
I couldn't believe the amount of dice and at the ranges that he was shooting at me. And I was quickly humbled in that game. Joey took it 40-10.
Ooh, wow. Okay, so I'm assuming he must have drawn inspiring speech on round one then.
Yes.
So he focused up his HKs, and then probably
He,
looks like he had
he was
primary
doing
target.
he was doing range 10 shots on me
Oof. And
and
that's
making them.
that's with the HKs, right?
Yes.
So many rerolls.
So much
Yes.
extra dice, so
Yeah.
many rerolls, and making me reroll anytime I blocked, and it was just a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that's standard hunter fare.
Yeah.
We've tried to curb some of that, so at least they can't do assassinate on the same attack that they do all that stuff.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that the assassinate nerf helps.
Yeah.
They're still pretty strong. I did hear lots of discussion outside of game about maybe something needs tweaked, but
hmm
I don't know what that means, but it might need looked at.
Specifically
bel
the HKs or just hunters in general?
HKs, yeah.
I
Oh, okay.
believe the only model I had left was Vader.
Oh, okay. So you did everything but Vader then.
I believe so.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Oh, he had damage on him, but I don't believe that he completely obliterated him.
All right. Well, then let's move to Brandon so we can have some post-tournament discussion because I'm gonna have to go in a
Yeah.
little bit. So, Brandon, who's your round three then?
Yep. So my round 3 is Mark from the UK. This is Riot Troopers, Death Troopers, and Thrawn. He did mess with my deck a little bit. So this is the same throwing somebody in the carbonite mission, and nobody gets the chance to do that. This thing was a bloodbath. His riots beat the crap out of me. So you're looking at his record and you're going, oh man, no. They did so much work. He just kept beating the crap out of me week in and extra block tokens, and my my hunters and my smugglers, my gunslingers are like, where do I go? How do I get away from these guys? I'm shooting him and he's bashing me in the face, really. This game was so tight. I love a close game. This is what it was. So we get to the end of the game. Nobody does the carbonite, so there's no extra points anywhere. It's just kills. And I have Jabba and I have a Jawa with 1 hit left
Whoa.
at the end of the game. And the score is it was 31 Mark and I had 34. So it was 34-31. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how close that game was.
How many? Do you remember how many reinforcements cards he played?
A couple, probably 1 or 2.
Okay.
And I think that's almost a detriment. When I see that played, I'm like, ooh, extra points I can get.
I forgot about that. In my game, he did not get any reinforcements off with him.
It's generally seen as a positive for the riot troopers because they're less than half of the points of their total group, and it just gives you more attacks. But it's interesting. So it sounds like you probably played the max, which is 2.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's great to hear again that Mark's list was doing well. It just barely couldn't make it in the games he played. It sounds like.
Yeah, and like he gave everyone a good game. Really, he did.
All right, let's go to round 4. We'll do Brandon. Let's do you again. Who did you play?
It's actually me versus Stephanie for round 4.
Okay, here's the one. I have a picture of this. All right, you guys can just talk about this.
Sure. So let's see. The map we were playing on
It's like
is
Bespin again.
It was Bespin again.
Yep, it's carbonite, and this time you have to get the gas and then try to control the chamber in order to score extra points. I don't think that ever happens.
No.
Yeah.
I kept picking up different gas.
And then I shot the guy that
and then
had
you'd
gas
kill
on
it.
him.
And I was trying to control it with Palpatine, but then you killed Palpatine, and Brendan was the only one that killed Vader.
Yep.
Oh.
So the second picture, so it was a cool picture of Stephanie getting ready to play, being all cute, and then there's a second one where Vader is in adjacent to Hondo, and he's adjacent to Onar. I have to do every single thing that I possibly can do to take on Vader. So I actually spend a VP to Bib in order to focus 2 of my hunters. And then I have to take Onar and Rush to push Vader off of me. So then I can easily or more easily move around and shoot at him with all of these focuses. It took every single thing I had to take him down in that hallway right there.
Nice.
So the end of that game, it was she had 28 points and I had 47 points. I still consider that a really good game.
How did it go from your perspective, Stephanie?
Same as every other game because we practiced so much leading up to this event. Like, I'm pretty sure we played about 15 games against each other before the event actually happened. And I probably won like maybe 3 or 4 of those.
Well, hold on. She started beating me every game because she made me switch lists.
I did not make you switch lists. You decided to switch lists.
She motivated me to try something else.
He started out by playing the same list that he ran last year with his Jedi Rebels.
But I wanted it to be Luke and Leia because I liked you guys were trying to do a new Leia, and I wanted to make 2 Force users with guns. I thought that'd be really cool, so I put together. Originally, I wanted to do Luke Leia at Adepticon. Obviously, that's not what I stuck with.
No, because the first 4 games that we played against each other, I brutally murdered him. And then he's like, well, maybe I'm going to switch this up, and I'm going to model my list after what you ran last year with the Hunters and Cad Bane, and then I'm going to start taking you down. So it went back to that, and he definitely pulled it out.
Okay, so that happened, and then final round 5.
Yep.
I heard some interesting stuff happened. What happened in round 5?
So what happened in round 5 was somehow, and I'm not sure how, but the pairings got messed up.
I could explain it if you
want.
Go ahead. If you do a round robin and you do the pairings kind of like a conveyor belt going around in a circle with an odd number of people, of odd number of games being played, you're going to have to do a repair, and that's what happened. And it was accidental, and you could tell that. No hard feelings there.
I could tell Joey kind of felt bad, and he was apologetic, but we were all there just to have fun. So It came down to Brendan and Destructor playing for second place. No matter what I did in a rematch against Joe, our standings were not going to change. So Brendan and Destructor played for second place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So Gabe is playing smugglers or hunter. Sorry, scum. He's got scum. He's got MIGs, and he's hired guns. I have my gunslingers, and okay, this is pretty cool. We're playing Uskrew, and we're playing courier droids. We go to the table, and Gabe's like, "Well, the courier droids aren't going to matter," and I'm like, "I don't agree with that." He's like, "No, courier droids never matter," and I'm like, "I don't agree with that," and I got to show him why. Um, so we're playing courier droids, and this is such a dodgy fight. It's a lot of move, shoot, move, lots of moves, lots of dodging. Um, so we do. I start picking off his supports while he is shooting at my main damage dealers, which is not a great trade, but it's okay. Um, I play on the lam twice. I play opportunistic. I play all the movement cards. So hit and run, um, and urgency. Like I play all my movement cards, and I get off all these shots, and hide around corners. And he's like, if you have another movement card, I swear. um, and so he's shooting at me. When I say dodge, I mean dodge. There were 3 huge shots that I put into him, and he rolled an X block on me. There were 2 huge shots he did on me, and I rolled an X block on him. So there was not a whole lot of scoring happening. The courier droids were slowly moving. Here's the thing: I mapped it out so that I could get I knew how to get my courier droids to score. You have to pull your doors in the middle, not the ones on the side. And so, spoiler alert, if you want to know how to play courier droids, here's how you play it. You don't take them around the sides. You run them straight through the middle. They move a little bit slower that way, but if you don't go around to the side, they can score turn 3. If you take them any other pathway, you can't. So keep that in mind. So that's how we're moving our courier droids. Anyways, there's not a lot of holes. There's not a lot of scoring happening, and I love playing Gabe. He's such a great kid. I was really enjoying myself until the very end of this game, and it's not because I lost. It's because of a breakdown of the rules. I have Greedo. He has Greedo. He has hired guns that also have parting shots. I have Celebration. We start begging each other to not shoot each other's Greedos with our Greedos. we call Joey over and start going over hypothetical, like, well, what if this? How does this work? And it was a letdown for me because it just became a breakdown of the rules. So at that point, I didn't really care if I won or if I lost. The final score was 25 Destructor and 21 me. I tried to go after his Jawa instead of Greedo. But it just became like mental calculus of Greedo versus Greedo, and then hired guns with parting shots. And it just became this hypothetical breakdown of the rules. So that is, so I loved playing this event, but my one request is, if you can, fix Greedo to where it's simple enough where you can shoot at anybody, and it's not going to cause this really feels bad kind of situation where you're begging each other not to shoot each other with certain models. I had Celebration. I I had Celebration, and the only named model I could shoot at was Greedo. So like with strategy, I should have gone Greedo into Greedo, but we did other things instead and had a fun, you know, time instead of doing that. So that's my one request for IACP. Fix Greedo, please. But yeah, that was my final game. He beat me. So Joey went undefeated and got first. Destructor beat me, got second. I got third. Stephanie.
I did not play a fifth round because, like I said, it was not going to matter how that game with Joe ended. I was still going to come in fourth. So instead of playing a rematch, me and Joe ended up playing. He had with him the Star Wars deck building game. So he taught me that game, and we played a round of that, and I beat him
With Imperials.
with Imperials.
Nice. I'm looking forward to trying that game. I did want to clarify
So much
something
fun.
before I hear a bunch of it in the comments.
Sure,
The
I'm really sorry. I don't mean to complain too much about that, and it's probably a more simple interaction. I have never wrapped my brain around it before, so.
That's fine. Well, first thing I need to clarify about the courier droids. It actually doesn't matter which route you take. It always takes three sets of movement to go from one deployment zone to the other, whether you go through
Oh,
the middle or go around the sides. The important thing is you don't want there to be a closed door in whatever route you've
right.
chosen. So, and
Yeah,
the doors open before or no, the droids come before the doors. So usually you have to go either you have to go in the direction of the door that's not already open, or you have to put it towards the direction of the door that you are already opening. As hard
yeah.
as that
You
is
you,
to
you
say.
just you have to plan that. You have to plan it out, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
So usually you
I guess
send it.
my
Yeah.
strategy was straight through the middle through those doors.
Yeah. So I just wanted to clarify, so for people that are playing that map. And then the Greedo thing on Greedo, I believe it's just triggers once for each attack. So it's like Greedo attacks Greedo, the other two Greedo attacks back, then the first Greedo attacks the second Greedo, and then that's it. Because it's only once per opportunity. So it can't trigger anymore. There's a whole. I'm sure you can find the rulings on it for people that are interested, but it does.
Yeah.
It is super confusing because then you have to deal with parting shot, and then parting shot triggers still on the draw again because that's a new attack instance. So it is very confusing. I'll agree.
I
Um,
think what I I think what I'll do is I'll just probably run 2 units of hired guns and leave Greedo at home if I were to do this again.
yeah, it is a pain, especially when you're at a tournament. And you don't. It's hard to look up rulings during a tournament. So
I don't mind losing to Destructor. He's a great kid, and I love playing all these people, so had a blast.
yeah. So kind of final thoughts. What do you guys think of? What do you think of season 7? What do you think of the tournament? Let me know. Tell me. We've got about maybe 10 more minutes.
We will come back and play Adepticon again for sure.
Mhm.
So please, let's keep growing this is the idea. I want to see 10, 20 people, or enough to have like a dedicated judge. I don't want to gripe, but the person running the events the last 2 years have won them. That's cool because it's a small event. It's pretty casual, pretty laid back. Um, but would like to see it switch up a little bit, give them a run for their money. I missed the presence of the songers
Mhm.
and Jake. So I know they didn't come out this year. We would have loved to see them and more attendance for sure. We loved meeting them last year. Would have liked to see them again. We will come out again. My whole thing is whenever I try to learn on Vassal and I try to do the digital tournaments, I just want to go paint minis and play in person. So I think my whole thing is I will concede that I'm an in-person player, and I think we're just gonna consistently do Adepticon until there's until we get bored
Mhm.
until there's no more IACP and no more Legion teams. Those are our top two events to come to.
Yeah, I'm the same way about in person. Oh, I forgot to ask about what were the prizes like?
Yeah, it was great. We kind of traded some promos ahead of time. We got some Heir to the Jedi, which is great because I like to play Luke. Um, her and I both picked. We kind of did some random draws and
Mm.
snake draft around, and got an extra set of dice, which is very handy when you have multiple people playing in one household. And the dials, the score
Yeah, the
dials.
score dials. I picked up like a little plastic carrying box. We got some tracker cards for when you have a squad of models, to be able to track one, two, and three in a squad. I think that was really all we picked up.
Hmm.
Did they give out the figures too? The expansion figure
Oh,
packs?
that's
Oh,
right.
right. Yes. I don't even remember what I picked
No,
up.
it's okay. I went for Wookiee Warriors since we have everything. What you can, and that's pretty much the only thing we could really use is Wookiee
Mm-hmm.
Warriors. But then she brought up the point that if we both try Rebels against each
Mm,
other, that we're gonna need another C-3PO
yeah.
and R2. So she grabbed that pack.
Oh,
So
Yeah, because
that was
nice.
really handy for us.
that was something that we had an issue with last year. We were both running C3PO.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna use 000 as my C-3PO this game.
Okay, good, good. Great. I'm glad
Yeah.
to hear that. It's always nice to hear because I just mail that stuff out and I never see it again. So it's nice to hear when it finds a new home, a loving home. That's good to hear. I know it probably didn't.
So last year we got like 100 and some cards, and um, I ended up handing some out. So the set of smaller campaign hero cards that are really cool, the double-sided campaign mini hero cards. I gave a set of those to Mark. He didn't play last year. We had an extra set, so that was kind of cool for him. And then what else? I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Some of those extra cards as well. I gave them to Gabe. He's getting a friend into IA, so I'm like, here, give this to your friends. We gave them a couple of the boards that we printed out. We don't need two of every board, so I'm like, here, take these boards, take some promo cards,
Yeah.
get your friends playing. So he's
Nice.
hoping to get a small group going in his area, I think.
Yeah, I think I got contacted about a event happening over there, like a con, and I think he's going to try and set up a tournament there. So
That would
definitely
be awesome.
That's awesome.
over in Michigan. So I'll
Hmm.
let you guys know here, watching, listening to the podcast in future episodes when we have more information about what's going to happen over there. All right, so let's close it out. Any what are your requests for future events and future Adepticons? What would you like to see more of? I mean, you said you wanted to grow, see more people. How, what would you like to see to do that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I just realized that there was an IACP Facebook page. I was on other Imperial Assault pages, so I finally made it to the right Imperial Assault Facebook page. So I mean, keep promoting it, keep doing the content, making the tweaks, and I don't know. We have a blast with this game, even if it's just a once a year at Adepticon. That's fine for us. We'll practice up and
Hmm.
give you a run for your money every time. Noah, I would like to roll some dice with you. How's that? I want to see you at the table.
Maybe I can make it work next year. We'll see. It's hard with a
Please.
young kiddo at home, but maybe I can make it swing for next year.
It's only on a Saturday. It's not like a 3-day event or something like that. So we really overbooked ourselves this year. We really are exhausted today from all that. Next year we'll probably just go for a couple days, and hopefully you guys will run IACP on Saturday again.
Okay. Well, last question. We've got season 8 is coming out in about a month, April 24th. But spoilers are going to start 2 weeks before that. We're going to start putting up articles on the main website, so make sure you're checking that in the starting April 13th. Or not 13th, what is Monday? April 10th, excuse me. We'll be putting up articles every day with the new cards. So, what are you guys excited for season 8? What are you hoping to see?
Uh, um, Oh,
Um,
Ewoks, because there's a playmat with Ewoks on it, and we still don't have any Ewoks in this game, right?
Yep, it's true.
So that way that it would like round out the
yeah.
set. Okay, so yeah, they really FFG says this game is complete and it's done. But I mean, they never finished Endor, so we could do some Endor themed things. And I don't know if you want to do an Ewok unit, but I mean, Return of the Jedi is my favorite, and they never went there with the campaign. So if you had some of those units, that'd be really exciting for me. Anyway.
All right.
Porgs.
Oh
Stephanie
no.
wants to see porgs. Okay, I'm writing that down. Porgs. Maybe as a food item.
That's just an extra thing
That
you
could
can grab out of a crate.
that could be like a command card for Chewie to
There we
like
go.
buff him up to eat a porg.
Oh my god.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, it was great talking to you guys. It sounds like you guys had a blast. Really appreciate you coming on and talking about your experience. Sadly, I wasn't able to go and document, but it's because of folks like you that keeps things going and keeps the game fun and interesting for everybody. It's great to hear people's experiences.
We're excited. We like getting cool pictures and sharing with you guys. We'll keep doing that for you. Thank you so much. It was really nice meeting you, and thank you for having us on here today.
Yeah, thanks, Noah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you both were able to come on for this. All right, thanks everybody for watching.